Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor. Hope everyone's having a great week. We're going to do an NXT review for 9/19. And, of course, they're getting ready for No Mercy in Bakersfield, California. Actually went to Bakersfield years and years ago, working with a gentleman, just doing driving. And I don't know if anybody will remember this name, but Buck Owens used to be on a show called Hee Haw. The man owned most of all of Bakersfield. It's amazing to go out and have dinner with somebody that owned most of the city. But anyway, the show starts out with a little recap like they do each week. But they go into, they just let Becky take over the first part of the show. She just goes, all right, now, let me see if I can get all this right. She does a little montage of like, I would see Dusty Rhodes doing, or something to that effect. It was pretty good. Let me see what she is, talking and doing really good. And then Tiff comes out, Tiffany Stratton, and of course Kiana James is going to get involved. So it's all these little things together. They end up, jumping her. So we're going to have a match a little later on. But Becky does good on the stick. She carries the crowd. As I said, the little Dusty Rhodes things was really cool, the way she was trying to do her little rhyme and everything. So, yeah. So, with an insertion of with Tiff and Kiana coming out and setting up what we know is going to happen. Okay, we'll see how it goes. But of course, you're going to have a little promo with Tony D and Stax. And they're kind of going over all of the tag teams. Who do they think? They want to sit everybody down at the table, do the Italian thing there, I guess, there. And they've just got one more spot. Apparently, there's only so many chairs at this table. So they're trying to figure out who is going to be in that final spot. And, they show some of the pictures of the tag teams, and, it's given a good little build up or whatever like that. I will say that. But we'll see how it goes. The nicer kind of Tony D, with Stax being more involved in the promos too. So yeah, we'll see how this goes. You never can tell. And they've got to give Dragunov some promo time. So Dragunov comes out and he says his thing. He is, he's ready for his match. He's intense. His regular gig here lately. But then, of course, Becky's got to come out because she got jumped, by Kiana and Tiff. So she comes out and she just interrupts the promo there, the little interview. And but to Dragunov, they let him do it gracefully. They let him go, hey, I'm done with it. I've said what I wanted to say. The stage is yours. And then she proceeds on. So, I kind of like the way they did that. But we're going to one of these Heritage Cup finals, invitational, come to whatever. So we've got a match coming up, a Group A match But they go up, and they've got Metaphor up in their Muffet skybox there. And it's not Halloween. I mean, maybe it is where they're from. I don't know. But they're dressed up like like Matrix. Yeah, like the movie, Keanu Reeves. Yeah. And well, it's better than last week. The inflatable, whatever it was, elephant, donkey, I don't know what it was. But the Matrix. Okay, yeah. So they're getting ready they're doing their little bit, and then of course Butch comes out for his match and interrupts them. They go to it like a commercial break, and they come back from that, and they got Trick and Dom doing a little spot, and everybody's messing with Trick. Trick getting, man. Trick gonna show him how to whoop a Trick because everybody's trying to get in his head, So I know what they're setting up. The ultimate match coming up, way on down the road. Trick and Mello in a match, but Dom's planting the seed. He's telling him how he needs a real family and step out of the shadow, and all that good stuff. So yeah. All right. So, we go from there. We actually have the Group A match for that herd, invitational, swim meet. But you've got, Tyler Bate, the big strong boy, and Butch. And I don't have a voice for Butch. But anyway, I guess it would be a semifinal match there, I guess you would say. And these two guys have fought each other, too. So there again, last week I mentioned something about ballroom dancing. And this is a little bit of ballroom dancing, but they must have seen maybe how the other guys looked last week and said that we will not repeat that performance because they stole each other's finishes. It was kind of good. Yeah. The best, man, all of them were really good, but where Tyler usually steps on your foot and then hits you, he puts his hand up and then hits you. Butch got one of those off that was just freaking, it looked great. This was a great match, man. This is a go back and watch match. Nothing bad to say. These guys put on one hell of a show. I was entertained and had to watch it. So whenever you get me not getting up and putting that TV dinner in the whatever you put that in there. But I sat there and watched the whole match. So, it's going to end up in the end, if we go all the way to the end, Butch ends up winning it, which was a little surprising to me. I really thought that they would give Tyler the, this push, but Butch is getting the push. But they're counters for counters, man. As I said, they were stealing each other's endings. Tyler put Butch in a spin that was freaking awesome. They knew each other's moves, so they were just tit for tat. That usually it doesn't mean a good match, but this was. So anyway, I won't go, I think Butch puts on what was called the bitter end, and then he had to come back with the better end. I don't know if I heard that right, but it was, and they had the viewing area for the other competitors to watch too, so they would pan over to them every once in a while. So, it was, it was pretty good. It was more like a main event match, and it could have been a main event match in a lot of places. But, yeah, they kind of go from just a bang, bang match, a really good match, hard hitting, just a good, a match. An A, not a match, but the grade of A. That is, I don't do that much. It was, even their mess up was really good. I just, bam. All right, I'll shut up about that. Because then we got to go to Thea and JC Jane. And they're going to go shopping. And I got to make sure I say the name of this place right, because I know, well, of course, I haven't been in there, but it's a ladies' boutique. But if I want to make sure I say this right, because it looks expensive. Well, we're just going to go ahead and go with ASC, Ashley Chanel, I believe it was, company. So they're going to go shopping, and JC Jane is helping her, kind of, I guess, change her image. So they go through a whole gamut of clothing, and she's trying them on. And then eventually at one time she goes, she comes out in something that has a little leather on it. She says, more leather. So they end up on a few towards the end. So, not so bad of a little promo. But from there, we've got a Group B match where we've got the Gallus Boys, Joe Coffey, going up against Duke Hudson of Chase University. And before this match is going to get started, Andre Chase is going to give Duke a little talking to, trying to, helping to, but nothing like a little bit later, because they're going to flip it around to where they're going to have the finals tonight too. So, you've got Joe Coffey up in here, and he's a big old cornbread fed type. If he was from America, that's what I would call him. And Duke's I think he's English or whatever it may be, but they're both big guys, and they can move around the ring. So I would say Joe Coffey is definitely more accomplished at this point in his career. Duke is getting there, but Duke is good. He's got some, every time I see him, he's getting a little bit better. And, you can't complain as long as they keep getting better. But in this case, Coffey is in the driver's seat, I believe, in the points. As I said, I ain't keeping up with all those points, but the announcers will fill in the blanks for us. But the match, okay. Well, they're just like two bulls up in there. So, the match is okay. It was okay. But Duke ends up pulling out a win, which creates a three-way tie in this. So they're going to have some kind of that's what it was. They're going to have a tiebreaker tonight, because there's a three-way tie to determine. So you're going to have a three-way match. So immediately they go to a promo with Nathan Frazier, and they pretty much inform him that he's fighting tonight. So he does his little promo like, "Oh, I got to go fight. Let me go grab my tights." So there we go with that. All right, from there, you're actually going to have Lopez coming out with Lola Vice going against Roxanne. And, normally I would probably watch some of this, listen to it in the background. This was a pretty good little match, too. Lola Vice really surprised me. Now, I found out tonight, according to what the announcer said, but Lola Vice was in Bellator MMA, and she was 4-1. That's what was said. I have not fact-checked that. But she moves. She's only been, I believe, since January. There is no way somebody looks that good. And Roxanne is good. She's good. She's her timing's getting better. Her selling's getting better. Roxanne has blossomed in front of our own eyes, actually. What the idea of NXT is, taking raw talent and developing it and putting it on the main rosters. And Roxanne has, progressed. So I was hard on her when, I was just didn't like some of her stuff and her work early, but sometimes I'm, wrong too. So, the match though, as I said, is a good match. Lola, you keep thinking is going to pull an upset. It's that good. She's selling that good. Her timing was that good. She can put you at any time. She can put you in a submission hold. So, but eventually, Roxanne ends up pulling up a small package, and wins the match. And then after that, we got last week you had Dijak, and he took his belt off, which was uncomfortable enough, and then he whooped a tree. Now, I was brought up in the 70s, so not a lot of things surprised me. And that's the 1970s, folks. No jokes on the 18s. But a guy whooping a tree in the middle of a forest. Does that mean if he whoops a tree in the middle of a forest and nobody hears him, does he really whoop? Anyway, I couldn't resist it. So Eddie Thorpe goes and finds the tree. I guess he goes and makes a potion and fixes the tree. I don't know. But he shows back up and he's blaming or accusing Dijak of calling him a savage, and so they're playing that angle on that. So, but he said, since you whooped the tree, we're gonna have a strap match. So there we go. We've got a strap match coming up in Bakersfield, and then they go to a quick little spot with Becky and Roxanne giving flowers, and Roxanne is saying that she will help and she didn't have to do it by herself, but Becky reminds her that her arm needs to be iced. But here we go. You're going to have now, though, Carmelo Hayes going against Dominik Mysterio, Dirty Dom, in a champ versus champ match. Okay, now in this champ versus champ match, it's predetermined because they've already said Dragon Lee is fighting Dom for the title. So they've had some slip-ups like this lately, and not just in WWE. So anyway, you got Dom and Mello going at it, and you got Dragunov on the mic. And this is old school. You put your angle out there so he can, run into, for any reason to run in. So you can have multiple reasons. But anyway, in this one, Dominik jumps off to a big start. He's trying to do something. And I hate to say this, but man, Dominik he was already really good. He just needs mic skills, and he's getting them. And the man is good. The man is good. No mommy. He has no memmy tonight. So there, it was a good match. Dom looks good in here. Represents good. But at one time, they get outside. So as soon as they get outside, you know what's about to happen. Dragunov is on the mic. Dominik is outside. He's got a cover because I'm surely they didn't mean to do that. Maybe they did. I don't know. But so he gets outside. He throws. Or Mello ends up throwing Dominik into Dragunov, or whatever series of events it was. Dragunov ends up on the ground. But the kicker was when Dirty Dom. He slaps Dragunov. And they go back into the ring. They're going at a couple moves. And then all of a sudden, Dragunov is all up in there. So there's a pull by Dom to put somebody out of position. It's worth going back and watching. This is the second one. It's worth going back and watching. Of course, Dragunov is going to cause a DQ when he jumps in. So there's a lot of little plots and little angles in there that you'll see once you watch it live. But yeah, and I don't know. I've heard some rumors that were going around, but who knows? I have not confirmed. But one was about some contracts coming up. And The Rock just made his appearance. So some of the rumors I'm just not sure of. I can't see the rumor about Gacy and Ava being true, but maybe so. I don't know, that they're going to let their contracts run out. Just can't see it with The Rock trying to build something, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. But in this Trick promo, they try to say, Trick, we know you're lonely. And he's like, I am not lonely tonight. And they kind of let him know, but he explains that no, he's not lonely. That's what you smell is olive oil. So they're trying to plant a seed again. So everybody coming at Trick. And then after that, you're going to have your the big pep talk that Duke Andre Chase gives Mr. Hudson, and it's a butt whooping kind of thing. So he fires them up, and they go on in. But in between there, they seem to find a crap game. I don't know how they just happened to find a crap game, but they found a crap game with Lucian and Bronco and Scripps or Reggie or Bob or Jim or whatever you want to call them. And they win the crap game, of course, and they're raking in the money. So they're talking, they mentioned OTM, which they were talking about going out of the mud to the dirt or whatever like that. So I guess OTM was out of the mud, guess so. We'll see in the future. That's for sure. And then they got Hank and Tank doing a little spot. So Hank and Tank want that spot. Well, they're all, even Bronco and them, they were talking about Tony D and Stax getting ready. So, but now you've got that Group B match, tiebreaker match, triple threat. Nathan Frazier, Duke Hudson, and Joe Coffey. And it's for that Heritage Cup thing, thing over there, Anyway, the match is pretty good. Nathan is going to give you a good match. Joe Coffey is going to give you a good match. Duke's going to give you spurts of a good match. And of course, it starts off like would be scripted. They're throwing, Coffey and Hudson are just throwing Nathan around for a while. Nathan picks his spots and, comes on. But in this, the announcers do a cheap reference to Deion Sanders in Colorado University, saying, the pep talk was on that level. Now, I know this is wrestling or anything else, but personally, I'd like to protest that, because have you listened to Deion? Jeez, that man makes me, I'm so old I could barely move, but I will get up and try to run through a wall. Couldn't maybe go around it. But yeah, they throw that in there to to promote a little bit, take advantage of who's popular. But you got Frazier flying around in there, and you I think Coffee T-bones at the turnbuckles. Duke towards the end looked pretty good. It just, everybody looked like they were sprung out of a slingshot. They just looked faster. It was almost like they sped the tape up a little bit, but I don't think they did. It looked really, really good. I thought, just the fact of how quick everything was. Anyway, in this particular one, you're going to have Joe Coffey win. So it's going to be Butch, and Joe Coffey in a finals match next week to figure out who goes against Noam Dar. All right, and let me see. And then you got Mustafa Ali acting like he's covering the tracks of them announcing who's already won the match that he hadn't even fought in. So pretty much, kind of, Mustafa comes out and says, you see, what had happened is they said this and he said that and nobody said anything to me, so I'm going to take care of this. So we'll see how that goes. And then, of course, you're going to have Tiffany and Kiana James doing their little, we don't really like each other, but we respect each other. And, yeah. But in between this, you've got Briggs and Jensen and Valen kind of discussing, that Bourne guy. We already had Keanu Reeves on, and now we got Matt Bourne. But Corbin apparently is trying to get a massage, and they interrupted him, so he came out, and they have words, and we'll see what happens when you interrupt Baron Corbin's massage. And then you got Melo leaving, and of course he going on and on about dragging off. But now we come to the main event. You've got a 2-on-1 match. Becky against Tiffany Stratton and Kiana James. But right when they get there, and it starts getting real, well, Valkyria shows up. And she says that she is there to be the partner for Becky. So that's what we have. We have a match with Becky and Valkyria against Tiffany and Kiana. And a good match, all the way through. Just a solid match. Can't complain. Big kicks from Valkyria, though. And I mean, like getting up there, she's not a tall lady, and she was, smacking upside the head. So, looked really good. Of course, Tiffany sells and Kiana sells. Both of them do really good. Their offense is good. But you're going to have a chance to where the man, Becky Lynch, drops the big leg. I call it the modified Hogan leg. She drops the leg on her. Valkyria goes up top with a splash, and she gets the win. So she gets the win, and they're in the ring, and it's all good in the hood. They're happy. And then Tiffany comes out and hits her with a chair. So now she's putting a whooping on Becky. She's all happy. She's leaving. And Becky comes back up and says, well, if you want to play it that way, then in Bakersfield at No Mercy in Bakersfield, it's going to be an Extreme Rules match for the belt. So, wow. Yeah, so that is the way they go off the air this week. So, a couple good matches to go back and watch, good angles starting. So, hey, I can't complain at all about the show. So, and they had to follow up Becky winning the title too. So take that in account. I think they did really good tonight. So yeah, just that Tyler Bate match alone was just, and Butch was just freaking great. So yeah, all right, and they're building something with Trick. So we got a little something going on here, guys. But I guess that's pretty much the show we have this week. Gave a little review. I hope everyone likes it, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And we'll just end it here, guys. So this is Memphis Mark, and if you can, help them shelters out. But as always, spay and neuter, folks. And well, this is Memphis Mark, and I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.